Good morning, America. How nice to see all of you. I'm Charles Gibson.
I'm Diane Sawyer. It's Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
And before we get to this half hour, I want you to hold up your left palm.
Oh, come on.
To that camera over there.
You bust me.
Hold up your palm.
What happened
I
to
want to
my...
find out about your hand. Hold it up. Spread your hand.
One for all and all for one.
Now, what is it that you have written on your hand?
These are my things to do for the day list.
Things to do for the day.
Yes, I couldn't get through this. Rick Kaplan. I have all these things. Isaac McSween. I have all these things.
Darling,
to do
we
today.
have pads. We have paper that you can write this on. But you have a purse over there. You can take the paper, write it down, put it in the purse.
I'm biodegradable in every sense of the word.
And you wonder about the weirdness I have to deal with every day. Hi, Mom. Anyway, this half hour.
Charlie Gibson.
This half hour, I mentioned a little bit earlier in the broadcast because it's an important story. There's about 130,000 American families that are going to send students off to study abroad this year. It's an extraordinary cultural experience, but it can have a dangerous side as well. A young woman is going to join us in just a few moments with her frightening story of an assault by a stranger and negligence by local authorities who wouldn't do anything about it. And we're going to find out from an expert some tips on how to keep your child safe if he or she is going abroad to study.
And on a lighter note, in this half hour, our Lara Spencer is going behind the scenes for this week's big spring fashion shows here in New York. Boy, is this city abuzz with them. And she's going to show us what it's like as you gear up for the morning event. And this is live, by the way. It's really going to happen at 9 o'clock for all of these models. And also still ahead, everybody is talking about this new show, which could be the revenge to Sex and the City, and it's called The Mind of a Married Man. And in this half hour, or the next half hour, you're going to meet the man who created it. And he says it's time to learn what goes on inside male minds in the same way you do female minds on Sex and the City. So let's see. Claire Shipman, do we want to know that? I didn't know. In Washington for Antonio Mora.
I am not sure about that, but I can tell you what's the news down here in Washington, and it is Michael Jordan, probably the news all over the nation. He's given the biggest hint so far that he may return to the NBA as a player this season. Talking to reporters yesterday, Jordan indicated strongly he'd be back, this time with the Washington Wizards. But then he later told the Washington Post he didn't say he definitely would be returning. Clearly, he wants to keep everybody guessing. In the meantime, fans are ecstatic about his possible return.
If he thinks he's, confident enough to come back into the game and play, then I'm sure he's going to do an excellent job.
Jordan always likes a challenge. He's a competitor. You never lose that competitive nature.
Anytime you got Michael Jordan on the floor, they're going to be the team.
Jordan will announce his final decision next week. Well, the faltering economy is on the minds of many Americans, and the president is coming under increasing pressure from Democrats and Republicans to act. Mr. Bush is in Florida today, where he'll try to keep at least part of his focus on his education agenda. And ABC's John Cochran is traveling with the president. Good morning, John. I understand Mr. Bush has been reluctant to talk about the economy down there and about any support for additional tax cuts.
He sure has. In fact, if you can believe it, this morning, he's already been asked about it. Before dawn this morning, he was out jogging. Reporters said, how about more tax cuts? He said, I'm not going to talk about it now, but he did hit. He might talk about it later today. So far, the best answer we've had came from your interview earlier this morning with Commerce Secretary Don Evans when you asked the Secretary whether the president might support a cut in capital gains taxes.
I don't think you take it off the table. I think you consider all the options that are out there. I think you have to continue to watch the numbers, continue to watch the data. There's some more important data that will be released later on this week. He'll continue to watch the data. His economic advisors will as well. They'll advise him. He'll consider that advice and then make decisions.
The president will be considering not only a cut in the capital gains tax rate, but also a cut in payroll taxes favored by Democrats. Claire?
Okay, John Cochran in Sarasota, Florida. Thanks for that. The U.S. has lost another unmanned spy plane over Iraq. Iraqi television says the plane was shot down near the southern city of Basra. If true, that would indicate improving Iraqi ability to target U.S. aircraft. U.S. officials confirmed that they've lost contact with the craft, a Predator drone similar to the one that was lost last month. A jury is being selected today to determine whether Houston mother Andrea Yates is fit to stand trial. Yates drowned her 5 children in a bathtub in June. Her lawyers say she's legally insane. The district attorney says he'll pursue the death penalty. A new report could increase pressure to expand federal funding for stem cell research. The National Academy of Sciences has concluded that to fulfill the potential for disease-fighting results, researchers will need more embryonic stem cell lines than the 64 that President Bush has cleared for funding. Another report from the Academy of Sciences concludes that the EPA has severely underestimated the cancer risk of arsenic in drinking water. An EPA spokeswoman acknowledges the study increases the likelihood of stricter standards for arsenic, something the Bush administration initially resisted. And finally, you're about to meet a man who, at first glance, has a face only a mother could love. But as ABC's Richard Gisbert reports, this face could soon be giving Cindy Crawford and friends a run for their money.
He was a motorcycle courier until he got his big break. He was given a package for delivery to the ugly modeling agency of London.
He came in the office and he had his visor down and just said, "I've got this parcel." And he said, "Can you sign it?" And as he pulled it up, there was these protruding teeth that stuck out, and I just felt wicked. That's why I said, "Do not move."
This guy stopped me and says, "Do I want to be a model?" Hey, now I'm a part-time jet set superstar.
Superstar might be pushing it, but Del Keynes is certainly making a unique impression on the modeling industry. A-list advertisers like Calvin Klein and Levi's have both used him, and Renault, the car maker, has built an entire campaign around him. And he's not cheap, at up to $14,000 a day.
Hello, Ugly.
Del is the current poster child of the Ugly modeling agency. Ugly has more of what it calls character models on its books than any other agency in the world. Occasionally, one of the Ugly agency ducklings encounters one of the swans of the catwalk.
When I arrive on set with another model, right, and they're on set, they think I'm just something to do with lighting or rigor or something, until they realise that I'm actually the same as them. Then they start going on about, "Oh, I'm flying off to Milan tomorrow with like blah, blah, blah," and all this. It's like, yeah, been there, done that, and they don't believe me.
With a surplus of conventional beauty out there, there's a demand for character models. On this shoot, Del Keynes is working for an American high-tech company that's just getting started in Europe. In other words, they want this face to launch 1,000 chips.
Okay, Tony Perkins, try to follow that with the weather.
All I can say is sign me up. That is, hey, more power to them. Everybody should have a good job. That's great. Thank you, Claire. We enjoyed that one. We've got a lot to talk about as far as our weather goes. A little bit of ugly weather, as a matter of fact. Take a look at the tropical weather map. There's a lot going on. Let me start with Hurricane Erin, which, as you know, should shift to the northeast. It has decreased in intensity. We don't expect it to impact the U.S. except for the heavy swells that we're going to see along the coast. Tropical storm Evo. We have tropical storm warnings in effect for the central western Mexican coast. This storm will strengthen. That's what we expect. It could affect the southwest U.S. eventually. Low pressure area in the Gulf of Mexico will bring strong rains to Florida. Could see some flooding. It could develop tropical characteristics. Tropical depression number 7 could become a tropical storm later. Right now, winds are at 35 miles an hour. That's a look at what's happening with the weather around the world. Now, here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
Good morning. Under mostly clear skies, some cool temperatures. 65 in Washington, still holding in the mid to upper 50s to the west of town around Dulles. Certainly less humid than days past, so really a very pleasant morning. Here's the forecast. Mostly sunny, 75 at lunchtime. Expect a comfortable 81 under mostly sunny skies. Just a beautiful day. As we head through tonight, mostly clear and cool once again late tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 79. Late on Thursday, could see a passing shower, a thunderstorm, and behind that, even cooler air moves into Washington.
Thank you very much. That's an update on the weather. It's 9 after the hour now. Charlie, back to you.
All right, Tony, at the beginning of the half hour, I was talking about the fact that over the past decade, the number of college students studying abroad has doubled. It's become the thing to do, and it's very commendable that students be exposed to overseas cultures. But are the more than 100,000 students in these programs and their parents aware that there can be possible dangers? That question is raised by an article in the latest issue of 17 magazine written by a courageous young woman who has decided to go public about how she was raped in Mexico. as a college senior. Allison Aguado is joining us now, along with Janet Alperstein, who is Assistant Dean of Studies and Study Abroad Advisor at Barnard College, and it's good to have both of you here. It is always a difficult thing to do, to talk about rape. It's a very hard thing to do. You wrote about it in a very public journal. Why?
I thought that it was important that other young women should know about the possible dangers, not only in Mexico, but in other countries studying abroad.
You were in Mexico.
I was in Mexico.
When you went off there, did it occur to you it can be dangerous?
It had occurred to me. I had attended the study abroad meetings, and Mexico was painted as this town in Mexico was painted as a very quaint and safe town. They said it was not at all like Mexico City, and that we would have a wonderful time there, and the culture was fantastic.
So you went away relatively reassured?
Yes.
Date rape drug. There is a date rape drug, which we have talked a lot about on this broadcast, that somebody can slip into a drink. It's illegal in the United States, not illegal in Mexico.
I found that out when I was in Mexico. I was out with friends, and somebody put the date rape drug, Rohypnol, in my drink. When I later went to the hospital after a sexual assault, they told me they wouldn't test my blood for Rohypnol or roofies.
Because it was legal.
Because it was legal.
And people can use it. And the authorities were not particularly interested in prosecuting, I gather.
No, not at all. Rutgers actually referred me to a psychiatrist who said that this is a common occurrence in Mexico and most victims don't press charges.
Janet Alperstein, how forewarned are students when they go overseas?
What we try and do, like a lot of our colleagues across the country, is that we want to try and make students and their families aware of the resources out there to be able to make an educated and informed decision about studying abroad. There are both risks and benefits to studying abroad, and our job as administrators and educators is to try and minimize the risks and maximize the benefits.
But Allison tells us she goes off relatively assured. She's told this is a wonderful community, she'll have a great time, etc. Do you specifically sit them down and say, look, this can be a dangerous society you're going to, or what?
What we do is, both in printed material on the web, in meetings, both study abroad information sessions as well as pre-departure meetings, is talk to students about the fact that they are going to be going somewhere completely new. We try and, in some ways, compare it to going off to college. You're going to be transitioning into a new place, a place you're unfamiliar with, far from home.
The interesting thing is here, because so many more students are going, as I mentioned, the numbers have doubled, that it's not just language students anymore who have a pretty good knowledge of the culture where they go. There's a lot of people who don't know. Globalization of business and whatever, a lot of different kinds of students want to go, and they're not as fully aware of what the society is like to which they go.
Exactly.
So, is it the college's responsibility, bottom line, to take care of the student, or is it the student's responsibility to inform him or herself?
I think both have responsibilities in this case. Colleges and universities need to make the information accessible both to students and their families so they can make an educated decision. If you look at the websites of study abroad programs at Barnard College and nationwide, you'll see a lot of us have links directly to the U.S. State Department's travel warnings and consular informations. And for international students who want to study abroad, we encourage them to seek out the same information from their home country. And so it's important for students and families to take advantage of the resources and to ask questions of students who've been on study abroad programs through surveys that a lot of us have accessible to our students.
Or alums who may be there as well. Let me ask you, anything that you wish the college had done differently before you left, or anything you wish you'd done differently before you left?
Well, I wish the college had adequately prepared me for going abroad. As far as medical care, which was very substandard compared to the United States, police departments were completely unsupportive. I spent 2 hours at the police station, and there's no record of me having been there. The hospital lost all samples pertaining to my testing.
We did ask Rutgers for a statement in all this. That was the university that you attended, and they said, we've sent 4,500 students abroad successfully. We ask students to read and take seriously the material we provide and the counsel we give. We advise students to be vigilant.
I, of course, took everything seriously. I don't believe that we were provided with adequate materials. I believe that they were supposed to give us a handbook that was on the order of 50 to 100 pages, which I never received. I also tried contacting 2 previous students in the program who never returned my calls.
Well, it's a very important warning for students who are going abroad. Check, make sure you know what's going on. Janet Alberstein from Barnard College, thanks very much. Allison, thank you for being here. I know it's a tough thing to do. We take a break. When we come back, live in Fashion Week, stay with us. We'll be back.
Okay. Introducing New Era Max.
I am a jungle gym. I am a trampoline. I am a brick wall. I am not a washing machine.
Now you don't have to be. New Era Max cuts through your active family stains to brighten whites and colors.
I am a finish line.
New Era Max. This is your era.
With posted pop-up notes in the handy dispenser, you always know where your notes are. So, you won't go nuts looking for nuts. And posted pop-up dispensers also come in these cool colors.
I have asthma. I also have 2 brothers and a dog, Max, and friends I hang out with. I don't want to miss out because of my asthma.
Singulair can help you control your child's asthma. Singulair is different from many daily inhaled controllers. It's not a steroid, and it's a once-a-day cherry chewable tablet that can help control your child's asthma for a full 24 hours. Singulair is available for children 2 years and older, and also for adults. Singulair should not be used to treat acute asthma attacks. Your child should continue taking their other asthma medicines unless their doctor tells you to stop or change the dose. If symptoms get worse, contact your child's doctor at once. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, flu, runny nose, and ear infection. For more information about Singulair, ask your child's doctor. And ask about adding once-a-day Singulair. Singulair, asthma control that can help you both breathe easier.
Tropicana Pure Premium Grove Stand is made from only fresh oranges, never from concentrate. It's as close as you can get to the orange. Tropicana Pure Premium.
If you have osteoarthritis, there's reason to celebrate. It's Celebrex.
Celebrate, celebrate, come on and celebrate.
Celebrex specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. Celebrex relieves arthritis pain plus inflammation and stiffness too.
Celebrate, celebrate, come on and celebrate.
Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reactions due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines, or certain drugs called sulfonamides. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
Celebrate, celebrate.
Powerful 24-hour relief from osteoarthritis pain, inflammation, and stiffness. Ask your doctor about prescription Celebrex.
Celebrate, celebrate, come on and celebrate.
Okay, now I know this question is kind of a toughie, but I bet somebody knows the answer.
Oh, friend, we know how to do this one. We learned it together, remember?
With Disney Learning Software, your child's favorite Disney characters help make learning fun. And when learning's fun, kids love to learn. Disney Learning Software, like having 35 teachers for every kid. Rated E for everyone.
Oh, I just knew we could do it.
You can hear the sound of hair dryers roaring all over New York City, mascara popping because it's Fashion Week. Spring fashion's being rolled out, many of them in Bryant Park, not far from here, where our very own Lara Spencer is standing by and knows everything that goes on behind the scenes. I've always wondered.
This is so fun. Behind me, you can see gorgeous models getting their hair and makeup. We are getting ready for a 9 o'clock show here at 7th on 6th. And Diane, this is a huge to-do here in New York City twice a year. It's when all of the top designers preview their upcoming collections. So just when you're shaking out your sweaters, the dust, the mothballs out of your fall collection, here's what's happening for spring 2002. Very ruffly, very feminine look. That's Catherine Malandrino. It's very feminine. Taupe is a huge color for next spring, in case you need to know. The one-piece bathing suit is back and better than ever, thank the Lord. And at Diane von Furstenberg, the little black dress is back and better than ever. Black is always in, and they say for spring it's a big look. This is more than about fashion, though. It's really sort of like the Oscars here in New York. It's the hottest ticket in town. Great parties. On any given day here at the tent on 6th Avenue, you'll see celebrities, socialites, supermodels. Only people who really don't want to be here are people like me, who are pregnant and don't really want to see skinny, beautiful models in clothing that we can't get one leg in. Until today, that all changes. A big moment. For the first time, the elite have allowed a maternity designer to show their collection. This is Liz Lang, and you say you are a fashion designer just like everyone else, but with a little more fabric.
Absolutely. This is just a spring collection like all the collections you're seeing here. All the design influences are the same. It's just that the clothes are a little bit bigger, and only a little bit bigger, as you can see.
Talk to us about some of your looks.
Oh, this is so exciting. This is a new group I've just done with Nike. It's activewear for pregnant women. It's so fabulous. It's just like fashion. Anything you'd want to work out in, show your stomach, look great. Black and white is always right for spring. I love a body-bearing look. I think it's so sexy and so chic. Red and a shirt dress. Red is really a new spring basic. It's just always. And shirt dresses continue to be so strong this spring. This is just a collection, just designer clothes.
So it's official. Maternity wear is no longer about muumuus. It actually is trendy. Also really important in fashion is makeup, and Janine Lobel from Stila is doing the makeup here. Real quick, I know it's a clean look. Any advice for pregnant women? How does it change when putting on makeup?
Well, the texture of your skin changes. You have to deal with pregnancy masks sometimes. But the main thing is get into multiple use easy products. So we're using a lot of the Stila Sport, which is eyes, lips, and cheeks all in one.
All right, keep it simple. Really quick, just one difference. You know, at most shows, you'll see models smoking, having champagne. Not this model, not this show. We're snacking here, getting ready for the big show.
That's the donuts.
See you soon. Good morning, America.
Be adventurous. Be plugged in. Be involved. Be powerful. Be yourself. Because it's your choice, your voice, and your attitude. Today's AARP.
Eclipse Gum, now in more powerful winter freshened spearmint. With Eclipse, it's lights out bad breath.
It's the one material that helps preserve the earth by being recycled more than anything else in the world. But it doesn't always fit in those little recycling bins. Learn more about steel recycling at thenewsteel.com.
This will be an everlasting love. This will be the one I'm waiting for. This will be the first time anyone has loved me.
More women use orthotricycline than any other birth control pill. Taken correctly, it's over 99% effective, so you don't worry about getting pregnant till you want to. And orthotricycline is clinically proven to help clear up moderate acne.
The pill does not protect against HIV or sexually transmitted diseases. Serious risks include blood clot, stroke, and heart attack. Cigarette smoking increases these risks, especially if you're a smoker over 35. Women who use the pill are urged not to smoke. Women who have blood clots, certain cancers, a history of heart attack or stroke, and those who could be pregnant should not use the pill. For more information, talk to your healthcare provider.
If you're going to take the pill, why not take orthotricycline? Clinically proven to help your skin look better. Orthotricycline. Isn't it great to find the one that's right for you?
This will be
Big brother, little brother. Car keys, cartoons. Plays in a band, plays in the sand. 6'3", 3'6". What brings these two to the table? Honey Nut Chex. The taste of golden honey and nuts that's sweet, but not too sweet. So everybody likes it. What'll they agree on next? Maybe girls? Maybe in a couple of years. Honey Nut Chex, bringing families together. For breakfast, anyway.
Beau goes away to college this year. He needs everything for his dorm room. Fortunately, Walmart has everything. The prices are terrific, and we can give him a Walmart shopping card for the things he needs later. Do you like the light or the dark blue? Walmart is just a lifesaver for us. They have everything we need to send them off to college. More importantly, I can afford it. I think I'm more nervous than he is.
Proud to be on your side, this is an ABC7 News Update.
Good morning, Washington. I'm Don Hudson. It's good to be with you. It's now 8:25, 64 degrees. We'll have a look at the forecast and traffic in just a moment. First, the news of the morning. A 12-year-old boy is in critical condition after being struck by a car in Montgomery County. Now, this happened on Beers Mill Road about 7:30 last night. Police say the unidentified boy was actually trying to cross that road to play football at a field that is next to the St. Jude's Church there. The road was closed while the child was flown to Children's Hospital. D.C. Police Department is asking for the public's help locating two missing girls. 14-year-old Yolanda Beard and her 3-year-old cousin Shantae Adams were last seen on Sunday evening in the 1200 block of Brentwood Road. Now, Yolanda called Shantae's mother to say that she was bringing her home, but the two never arrived. Anyone with any information is urged to contact the D.C. Police Department. Also this morning, the search is on for a man who police say exposed himself to 3 girls. Police say it happened Saturday at the Lee District Park on Telegraph Road in Alexandria. The girls say the man approached them, pulled his pants down, and that's when the 10-year-olds ran away. He's described as a 20-year-old Hispanic man, about 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, with black curly hair, brown eyes, and a mustache. Again, anyone with information about this should contact the Alexandria Police Department. And the district is cracking down on illegal parking, but critics claim it's just a means to collect more money. Now, in the early 90s, D.C. made $70 million a year on tickets. That's down to about $48 million now. The number of ticket riders is going to increase from 69 to 109. 247 are authorized for this fiscal year. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll check on traffic and we'll take a look at the forecast.
ABC7 News brought to you in part by Millennium Scan.
Wouldn't it be incredible to be able to clearly detect a serious health problem before it gets worse? Well, forget incredible. It's now a reality. With Millennium Scan, board-certified radiologists use the most advanced technology available to get the most detailed images of every part of your body, so they have a clear picture of the state of your health. There's never been an imaging process so thorough, so clear, and so revealing, and there's never been an easier way to protect your health. Call today or log on at millenniumscan.com.
And welcome back. It is now 8:27. Let's check in with Mickey Scarlotta, who is keeping an eye on traffic out there.
Good morning, Don. Well, our rush hour is in full swing, especially in Montgomery County, southbound 270, all stacks up from 370 all the way to the lane divide. And right now, here's a live picture how we look at Old Georgetown Road. You can see those cars slowing down up ahead. They're going to be on the brakes all the way around on the inner loop to Georgia Avenue. Now let me show you what your ride looks like over in Virginia. Look at this slow traffic near Telegraph Road. Those cars on the right-hand side of your screen are on the outer loop of the Beltway. We have an accident right before you reach Telegraph Road over in the left lane, and it is continued slow all the way around to the Woodrow Wilson Bridge into that sunshine. Now let's go to Alexandra with a look at today's weather.
And there's plenty of sunshine to head into. 67, mostly clear skies. It's 64 now at Dulles, so beginning to warm things up. Here's your forecast. A lot less humid than days past. Really a pleasant morning as you head out the door to go to work or school this morning. As you head through this afternoon, mostly sunny, 75 degrees at lunchtime. Expect a high of 81, so slightly cooler than where we should be, but oh so pleasant. Tomorrow, really a repeat performance of this, mostly sunny and 79. Partly cloudy on Thursday, an isolated shower late in the day with the passage of a cold front that will usher in even cooler air for the weekend ahead. Don?
All right, Alexander, thank you, and thank you for watching. More news, traffic, and weather coming your way at 8:56. We'll see you then.
Why do the 4 giant bell phone monopolies want toes and dingles so badly? How about this? Section 4A states, neither the FCC nor any state shall have authority to regulate the rates, charges, terms, or conditions for any high-speed data service. Toes and Dingle will turn the 4 bell giants loose on America and then prohibit the FCC and all 50 states from protecting us. So, this is why our parents told us to read the fine print.
Relax. Just listen to my voice.
On September 28,
look in my eyes.
On this quiet street, a stranger will arrive and pass his power to another. From the author of The Green Mile.
Find the Queen of Hearts.
And the director of Shine.
Tell me what you see.
This one here.
Anthony Hopkins. Hearts in Atlantis. Rated PG-13. Sneak preview September 15th. Starts September 28th.
Joan Rivers and Kamet Band on the next Live.
Good morning, America. I'm Diane Sawyer.
And I'm Charles Gibson. Partners in crime, we are right here in our usual post.
Partners in crime. Well, coming up, what are men really thinking? Can we find out from a new show about to debut on television?
The show is only 2 hours. You can't find out what men are thinking.
Oh, I think we got plenty of time before commercial. Anyway, Mike Binder has put together a new show, and he hates this, but people do say The Mind of the Married Man, which is its name, is a kind of, well, it's at least a response to Sex in the City, and we're going to find out exactly what he thinks coming up.
Listen, you do a whole show on, hey, what do you think of them Knicks? Is Jordan coming back? Huh? Hey, did you see the Giant Bronco game last night? Huh?
Got any beers?
Yeah, okay,
Right.
well, that's it. Can you make a half-hour television show out of that? We'll find out. Also, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is here to tell us how she's going to help 300,000 people in Wisconsin this coming weekend.
And
all at once, she's going to do that. That's a prodigious task. We'll find out.
That's just for beginners. She can do that before breakfast. Well, we're going to talk about something that is new for your pets. There is a report out that the average life expectancy, as we know, for a cat or a dog is between 10 and 15 years, but that there's a new scientific breakthrough which could give your pet a longer life. And Dr. Carol Hurley, a veterinarian with the Waltham Center for Pet Nutrition in England, has developed what they're calling a kind of superfood. It's an additive, and she's with us this morning from our London bureau. So this is antioxidants, Dr. Hurley, which do what?
Yes, good morning. It's a unique blend of antioxidants that, when added together, they work in combination to help protect the cells at the level of the DNA. So they help to prevent damage to DNA in the cells.
We know that humans can take antioxidant supplements themselves, but you're saying you're actually able to measure the amount of DNA repair or lack of damage?
That's right. We already know that the DNA that exists in every cell is damaged up to 10,000 times a day by what's called free radicals. And this is a normal process. It happens from exposure to sunlight, to pollution, from stress, from routine exercise.
But so what are the implications of DNA in longevity? In other words, if what you're able to measure in longevity, how long can these pets live?
Right. Well, as DNA damage starts to accumulate, we start to see age-related diseases such as arthritis, cancers, cataracts, all the sorts of things that we see in people with aging, our pets can get as well. And so what we've seen is, by being able to test the amount of damage in cells, we've adapted a test from the human field at the Waltham Center. And we've been able to combine these ingredients fed to pets and found that in dogs fed this food for 2 months, there's a 26% decrease in the amount of damage to their DNA.
But you don't know exactly what that
So
means in terms of years achieved, extra years.
Well, yeah, not yet. And that's what we're doing, is following these animals along. The idea is that, for instance, it takes only one cell to be damaged to start the process of a cancer, or start the process of an age-related disease. And so what we're looking for is that these animals have the best potential for their lifespan.
All right,
so
well,
they
everybody's
have a slower aging process.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Everybody's going to be following this, of course, not only for animals, but for humans as well coming up. And thanks for telling us about it. I gather it'll be available in about a year. So we'll let everybody out there know. But let's get the weather. Tony Perkins is here.
All right, thank you, Diane. Before we get to the weather, every day our producers survey the crowd to find out interesting things, interesting stories, and we have learned a couple of things this morning. In fact, we're starting a new feature. First of all, we've noticed that for some reason, several people in our audience have worn various shades of purple. Just by coincidence, did you all call each other and plan this?
No.
No. And even Eddie, come here, is on our crew. He's wearing purple as well. And Jeremy is also wearing a shade of purple. Very odd. I'm not sure why that is. All right, get out of here. Now, the other thing We've noticed, and we're very excited about this, almost everyone in our audience is the same height. Can you pan around? Except for just a few people. You will have to leave. I'm sorry. And this gentleman on the end, sir, with the glasses, you'll have to leave. I'm sorry, you can't be a part of the crowd today. All right, now that looks better. I'm happy. Take a look at what's happening with weather conditions around the nation. We start with the high temperatures for today. It is going to be a warm one in the south, but these temperatures are pretty much seasonable for most of the nation. 70s in the upper Midwest. We'll see some 80s throughout much of the U.S. Desert Southwest, of course, over 100 degrees again. Take a look at the highlights for today. New York City, beautiful day here. 80 degrees today. St. Louis, 83. Albuquerque, you're looking at 87. San Diego, a pleasant 74. Where will we see rain? We'll see some scattered showers in portions of the west. Most of the west will be dry. Look for possible flooding in southern Texas, central and southern Florida, where the rain will be heavy. That's a look at what's happening with the weather around the nation. Now, here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
Good morning. Certainly no rain here. Nothing but dry skies. Next chance for rain not even until Thursday afternoon with a slight chance of a shower. Today and tomorrow mostly sunny, highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. Thursday could see a slight chance of a shower and then smooth sailing once again.
You have to leave too. You're a little too tall. Thank you very much. This weather report brought to you by Walmart. If you'd like to be in our studio audience, you have to be 5'8" and just send an email to abcnews.com. Diane, back to you.
Okay, Tony. Well, an ad for the new HBO series, The Mind of the Married Man, says, in marriage, no one can hear you scream. Why am I laughing? But what would it be like if we could hear inside the man who was married? Thoughts, everything from infidelity to a lot of other things that we can't talk about on morning television. Well, the new series is called, despite what he wants it to be, the male version of Sex and the City. And to hear more about what goes on in the mind of its creator and star, we're joined by Mike Binder, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And I actually don't mind. I think Sex and the City is a great show. So I don't mind. It's just the show. It's such an easy handle to say. It's a male version of Sex and the City. But.
Okay. Where do you start when you say, I'm going to do a series about the mind of a married man? What's the first thing you start doing? Jotting down your own thoughts?
I start preparing for my wife to move out that's the first thing. No. Actually, she likes the show. My wife is. But I think the idea was to do a show that tries to capture how men talk when their wives aren't around. And one of the things they talk about the most is sex. So that's really what people have caught on to what we're doing, But I think that there's a lot of things that people talk about.
What are the principal differences in the way men talk about sex and women do?
I think that men are a little more two-faced about it.
How do you mean?
They talk one way with their friends, and then with their wives, they're a completely different person. And I think that's the truth, and I think that women kind of know that and are more comfortable with it. I really, one thing I think doing this show, you kind of learn that women don't want to hear everything. They kind of assume that we're messed up, that we're a little screwed up. And it's like, just go talk to your friends about that, please.
All right, we have a clip from the show, and it just gives you a little sense of something when, he's talking about something his wife found.
I found a file open. One I never leave up. Dad, I found porn on your computer. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Like pornography? Yes. What kind? What does it matter what kind? These pictures of naked women, Doug. Naked, not my wife women. What does it matter what kind? She hasn't said anything yet? Not Donna. She'll gather her facts first. Find the site I downloaded it from. Trace the credit card bill.
That wasn't me, by the way. One of the writers came up with that whole storyline. I have purely work of research on my computer.
Right. You've heard about such things.
Absolutely.
Do men talk as much about their appearances or ever about their appearances?
I don't think so. Not in my experience. Some men do.
Do men talk about relationships at all, or do they save that for home?
Yeah, no. They talk about relationships. They do. They talk about their relationships a lot with each other. More than at least the men that I hang out with. You don't know. There's so many men out there. I think there's a good 1,500 of them at last count. But the ones that I know, the 1,400 that I know, seem to talk about, relationships in terms of what isn't working more than what's working.
In all your research for this, what did you learn about the mind of a married man that you didn't know?
What I think is interesting and where the show's point of view is men want to be married. Men like to be married. They like to complain about it. But if you see a guy who's married get divorced, you know what he does? He runs out and he gets married again. Men like to be married, and single men dream of finding the right person to be married. They're not single because they want to be single. They always think one day they're going to get married. Men like to be married, and that's the point of view of the show.
And very funny.
Thank you.
It's what I've heard. The word around the shop here is that it's truly funny, and it's called The Mind of the Married Man, and it premieres, you should know, on HBO. When does it premiere?
Tonight. There's a sneak preview tonight, and then Sunday night it starts airing after Band of Brothers.
All right. Coming up, men get their revenge. And we'll be right back.
ABC7 is on your side
by making your mornings easier.
And it starts here with our Good Morning Washington promise. From the time you wake up to the time you walk out your door.
You'll get your full weather and traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 7s.
And in between, the latest news from overnight. What happened while you slept?
It's our promise to you.
Weather and traffic every 10 minutes on the 7s.
Plus the news from overnight.
It's the Good Morning Washington promise, and it's only on ABC7. Proud to be on your side.
Behind in the polls, Mark Early's launched false attacks on Mark Warner. The press says Early's taken the low road. His attacks are absurd, repulsive, ugly. Early's claims about Mark Warner are dead wrong. Fabrication, a smear. They insult voters. It's typical old-style politics. Mark Early, no positive plan. Negative ads that don't tell the truth. Virginia deserves better.
Vehicle history report, extensive.
When it comes to buying a used car, do you really know what you're getting? Toyota does, because beyond getting legendary Toyota quality, dependability, and reliability, there's a few other important things you get too.
Like 6.9% APR financing up to 60 months on all certified used Camrys, Solaras, and Corollas. Toyota certified used vehicles. We're good on our words. Available exclusively at your Toyota certified used vehicle dealer.
CarMax.com has a great selection of used cars online. We carry nearly every make and model. Find a car from any of the thousands we sell nationwide and have it transferred to the store nearest you. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
You asked for used cars you can depend on, so we created CarMax, where every used car comes with a 30-day limited warranty and a 5-day money-back guarantee. We even offer extended warranties that protect you for up to 100,000 miles. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
ABC next Tuesday. The season starts here. Dharma and Greg, the episode you've been waiting for.
Dharma, I'm so sorry.
Spin City, the moment you thought would never happen.
I'm back.
And from the creator of NYPD Blue, Tom Everett Scott and Emmy Award winner Kim Delaney.
You want to play hardball with me, I will break your skull.
You already tried that once.
Philly. Dharma and Greg, Spin City, and the series premiere of Philly. ABC next Tuesday. The season starts here.
Sarah, the Duchess of York, is with us. It's always nice to have her back. No stranger to overcoming obstacles in her life, as you probably know, from weight problems to the emotional problems of her darkest days following her divorce from Prince Andrew. This week, she's off to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where, in what is believed to be the first challenge of its kind, she's going to help residents of an entire county overcome their obstacles to losing weight. And she joins us now. Off to Waukesha County in Wisconsin, you are.
Morning, Charlie.
A third of the people there, supposedly overweight. That's about 300,000 people, I guess, in rough terms. Each of them takes off 10 pounds. That's 3 million pounds you're going to help people lose.
Well, I think it's all about support, isn't it? It is a thought, isn't it? But
Yes.
it is about support. And Weight Watchers is really about helping people through group settings. And if you think about it, 3 million pounds, and it's all about people talking and going down to the local library or wherever they sign up, but it's about a joint group getting together saying, yes, we're going to make a difference.
That's not only a whole football team, that's the whole National Football League or the English Soccer League or whatever.
Or
that
something
you're
like that.
Losing in weight. But how do you do that? I mean, do you cajole them? Do you scold them? Do you plead with them? Do you lecture with them? What do you do?
I think it's about education on what are the side effects of being overweight and what disease, diabetes or what other diseases stem from being obese or being overweight. I mean, it's not just about health and fitness and nutrition. It's about the whole package, the heart problems that stem from it, and various other things.
And emotional problems.
And emotional problems. Well, emotional problems, that was my problem. I ate to compensate for my feelings.
Right.
And a lot of people think, no, I'm fine, I'm all right. And then they go and eat 5 cookies, you know. It's the thing of why do you not want to look at your own problems?
You wrote very frankly in Rosie's magazine about depression, about the fact that you were really down at one point. And is that equated in your mind, eating and depression and tough times?
No question about it. In my case, when I had managed to make a complete nonsense of my life, whether it be financial, whether I'd gone through a divorce, I just thought I was worthless. And so what I did was I got very sad and very down, and I ate and ate and ate and got larger and larger and larger and then beat myself up even more, and it's that vicious circle. And you never think you can get off the carousel ride, but you just can, you know. You can with support, and that's what really we're saying in Waukesha County.
That's a great phrase, making a nonsense of my life. I mean, it's a wonderfully light phrase, and yet it really bespeaks of a very tough. I mean, it's a light phrase connected to very tough times that you were going through.
Well, it's just, you know, to publicly self-humiliate yourself is something.
Did you feel that way, really?
Something quite huge to do, isn't it?
Did you really feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. It was
really?
rock bottom. Yeah, rock bottom.
And the weight loss then brought back the self-esteem and was a critical way to reverse that?
No, taking charge of my life, taking charge of my finances, taking charge of the way I was going to go forward, and actually getting forward and not sitting in a corner shaking was kind of an achievement.
So, and weight was just one aspect of
weight
that.
Was it? Weight? Well, no, weight was the symptom of how bad I was feeling.
Right.
And so so everyone could see I was getting larger. There must be some problem, you know. And the thing is I then dealt with all my issues, and in dealing with it, I'm sitting here today with a little more confidence.
Yeah, and you're going to do that all for an entire county of people in Waukesha.
Well, we can have a go, can't we?
Let me ask you about something that got a lot of publicity in this country, and I'm sure in England. And I know you're very uncomfortable with questions about the royal family, but it was so publicized in this country. A journal, The Spectator in London, which is thought to have very close ties to Buckingham Palace, said that after the celebration of the Queen's 50th year in the throne in 2002, that she will go ahead and give her approval to a marriage between Prince Charles and Camilla. Your reaction to that article?
I think it's rather wonderful that they were obviously in the room when all this was being discussed.
Doesn't the family, though, sometimes use journals to get out just float a trial balloon, in effect?
Well, the great thing is I don't do that. So whether they do it or not, I have no idea. And it would be very incorrect of me to make a judgment on that. But I always love it when they do front pages and they say, this is what's going to happen, and this is, you know, who's going to do this. But I'd love to know if they're actually sitting in the bedroom or the room or the sitting room.
Well, I doubt they're in the room, but
discussed.
maybe they get a call from somebody who knows what's going on at the palace.
But isn't in America and in politics, isn't spinning? What is spinning, Charlie?
Well, spinning is getting out your point of view, trying to put your interpretation on something.
So do you think there is a lot of spinning done in politics and various other places?
Sure.
Well,
sure. But do you think this one is spun correctly? On that note, we will thank you for being here. It's good to have you here as always.
Charlie.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
It is now 48 minutes after 8. More from Fashion Week in just a moment. Stay with us.
Trust in me in all you do. Have the faith I have in you. Love will see us through if only you trust in me. Trust me now.
With Weight Watchers, every food has a points value. And now every point works harder than ever. Introducing Winning Points, the way to stay satisfied. Eat what you like and still stay within your daily points range. So you stick with it and lose.
Now, take it off and show it off. Enter Weight Watchers Take It Off, Show It Off sweepstakes. Win a fabulous new $10,000 wardrobe.
Now's the time to join Weight Watchers. For pricing and location information, call 301-770-4115.
Looking for home furnishing of exceptional value and quality? Then come to Gallahan's and see a wide selection of the area's finest furniture, all at 30 to 50% off every day. Discover the unique shopping experience of Gallahan's. And right now, receive up to $1,000 back on Century Savoy. From traditional to transitional, Gallahan's is your complete home furnishing destination. Take I-95 south to Fredericksburg, Virginia. Come for the selection, buy for the discounts.
Morning. How'd you sleep?
Good.
I slept great. Must be that fresh mountain air, you know? Nothing like it. Oh, man.
Introducing the Jetta wagon, with room for 70 cubic feet of anything.
The great outdoors.
If a football hero accused of murder is news for months, if every Capitol Hill scandal merits weeks of coverage, how much attention do 2.5 million dead merit? It's a story we should have brought you long ago. This week on Nightline, we'd like to make up for that by finally telling you about the beauty and the tragedy of Congo. 3 years, 2.5 million dead. We thought you should know.
We want to tell you what we know as we know it, but we just got a report in that there's been some sort of explosion at the World Trade Center in New York City. One report said, and we can't confirm any of this, that a plane may have hit one of the two towers of the World Trade Center, but again, you're seeing the live pictures here. We have no further details than that. We don't know anything about what they have concluded happened there this morning, but we're going to find out and, of course, make sure that everybody knows on the air.
These are, of course, the two twin Trade Center buildings that are down at the foot of Manhattan, that they really are the beacons of New York. It was there that there was the explosion a couple of years ago brought about by terrorists. That's all gone through the courts, but this we don't know anything about. We don't know about anything that has happened here other than the fact that there's obviously been a major incident there, and we're going to go to a special report now from ABC News.
This is an ABC News special report.
Now, by the entire ABC network, Good Morning America was in progress in the East Coast and the Midwest, but we're joined by the entire network just to show you some pictures at the foot of New York City. This is at the World Trade Center. Obviously, a major fire there, and there has been some sort of explosion. We don't fully know the details. There is one report, as of yet unconfirmed, that a plane has hit of the World Trade Center, and you can see that there is smoke there coming out of at least two sides of the building.
And as you said, there are two towers, the tallest structures in Manhattan, on the island of Manhattan. We're trying to get people on the telephone to see what more we can learn. We have no idea if it was a plane. Was it in any sense deliberate? Was it an accident? It does seem to be that there is considerable and truly terrifying damage on some of those floors at the top.
This angle is a little deceptive. As you know, there are two Trade Center towers, and the second tower there is hidden behind the first. This is really almost the picture postcard of New York City. It's that and the Empire State Building, I guess, are the two most recognizable symbols of New York. There you can see the two, well, we had there for just briefly the other angle of the World Trade Center towers, but this is confined to one of the towers on the upper floors. These buildings, I think they're 110 stories each, so this would be in the top 15 or 20 floors there.
You mentioned earlier that, of course, as we all know, years ago there was that terrorist attack. It took place down on the ground and in the underground levels and the garage levels. But again, that's not to imply that we have any reason at this point to believe that this is terrorism or not. We simply don't know. And in just a few minutes, Peter Jennings is going to be joining us from the news desk uptown, where he's going to tell us everything that he knows. We also have Don Daler on the phone, and you know he's been with us on Good Morning America for a long time. And Don, where are you, and what do you know?
I'm about 4 or 5 blocks just north of the World Trade Center, and at about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, there was a loud sound that I can only describe as it sounded like a missile, not an airplane. Then there was a loud explosion, and immediately lots of screaming out on the streets. And I don't want to cause any speculation, but that's the only way I could describe the sound, and it was definitely not the sound of a prop plane or anything like that.
And am I right? Are you a pilot?
Well, I have flown. I do not have a pilot's license. But I grew up on military bases, and I know the sound of jets, and I've been in war zones and heard those kinds of different sounds. So, again, not to cause any kind of undue speculation, but the sound itself was not of a prop plane. It was perhaps a jet, but it could have been a missile as well.
Can you give me, was it a whining sound, Don, or what?
Yes, it was a how to describe it? It was a high-pitched, but it had a whooshing sound, not like a prop plane.
Huh. And you didn't see anything actually in the air?
No, I wasn't looking out, but we looked out immediately. You can see quite a lot of damage. If it was an airplane, it had to be huge because it hit way up in the World Trade Center. I would say it's probably a good 5-6 of the way up to the top. There's a considerable amount of flame. There's damage on 2 sides that I can see. On the very north-facing side, there's where looks like is the largest amount of damage. There's a gigantic hole that encompasses a number of floors. I would say maybe 10 to 15 floors. And then on the left side, which would be the east side, there's considerable damage as well, and lots of flames and smoke coming out of it.
You know, I don't know that people outside New York realize it, but these 2 buildings are essentially cities in and of themselves. I mean, there's 30 to 40,000 people, if I remember the number, and I'm doing this from memory.
Yes.
Number of people who actually work in these buildings, and this obviously occurred at the time that people were coming to work.
Don, are you saying that this sound was striking enough that you heard it before you saw it?
I noticed it before the explosion. I noticed a sound like something was very low and shrieking across the sky. And then I heard the explosion.
And which of the 2 towers is this? Because, again, we're just seeing an angle that's a little deceptive.
This is the West Tower.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're hearing somewhat faintly in the background, Don, as you talk to us, sirens. Are there a lot of emergency vehicles already on the scene?
Yeah, they're descending. This part of New York City has quite a few emergency stations all over, and I imagine it sounds like they're coming from every one of the stations. In fact, there's one just down the street that sounds like every truck they have is headed that way.
We see 2 faces. I know you can't see the picture that our audience is seeing, but we see 2 faces of that tower. One seems to have a rather gaping large hole in it. The other face seems to have 2 holes in it. It's all somewhat obscured by smoke. One large, one somewhat smaller.
Right.
And, of course, we know there are a variety of offices there. There are financial offices there. There are advertising offices, all kinds. We can only hope that since it is still a little bit early in New York, that maybe on some of those floors, some of the offices were still not open for business.
You can now see there on that one side, you can see flames now coming actually out of 2 sides of the building, and I'm minimizing actually the number of openings that are on those 2 faces of the World Trade Center. There's multiple, it looks like, holes
with fire
or openings
still going on.
On both sides of the tower.
As we've heard before, we said earlier that there was at least one speculative report that an airplane had crashed in, whether deliberately or accidentally, we don't know. And there are continuing reports from people who say that they saw an airplane, one woman saying that she saw a jet going in. So, again, Don, a jet screaming that low could be consistent with what you heard?
Absolutely. It could be consistent with what I heard. What I know I did not hear was an airplane, any kind of a prop plane. And I think looking at the damage, I don't think there's any way possible that it would have been a prop plane. It's just too much damage to the building. What's deceptive about the World Trade Center is that it is so huge and so tall that the perspective is difficult to get from the ground. But when you look at the size of the hole, and if you look in context at one of the helicopters going around at a lower size, a helicopter is about the size of a regular Cessna, that kind of thing, the body of the plane. The hole is so much larger than that helicopter that it would have to, if it was a jet, I would have to speculate that it would have to be a larger than normal jet. I mean, larger than like a Citation or something like that. It's just such a gigantic hole, and it blew out the other side. And again, these buildings are almost a city block size building. So for it to have blown in this hole on the north side as well as the west side, it had to be a gigantic explosion.
Well, obviously, we don't know if this was if it was a plane, and I underline if it was. We don't know if it would have been deliberate.